Oh, man.
Welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic.
And then you're saying, great job, 49ers!
The five best players ever in the NBA, Kobe Bryant is not one of them.
Rafa, you can't say anywhere that he doesn't belong in the league.
Give me that amount of money, and I'll do whatever you want me to do. Josh Allen will never make the playoffs again.
The SEC is straight trash.
This fool was a crumb up.
Oh, he was in one of those
Yeah.
vests? Yeah. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic, episode 107, College Football Edition. We are live on Instagram. Are we not live on Instagram, Rafa?
Yes, we are live on Instagram, live on YouTube, baby.
Live on YouTube. Guys, Two Nobodies working overtime for you guys. We will be live tomorrow as well, but college football is just too good not to have its own show. So we made the executive decision to do two shows, man, from here on out till college football is done. So that being said, guys, we're the gambling show of record. We are live on Instagram. We are live on YouTube. Please comment, questions, talk your shit. But right now, I want to introduce you to the guru. Rafa is in the house. What up, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
Bro, little by little, Rafa, you are morphing into a Raider fan.
I am not.
Next week, that Raider, that Bo Jackson, it's going to be like on fire. It's going to like have a ring of fire around it. Like it just keeps on getting more and more beautiful.
I am not. I'm not. That's
That
just
being
Bo
said,
Jackson, a bad man.
Yeah. Let's introduce executive producer CJ Wowo, high school national champion, Division I Air Force Academy, starting center. Just a man. I mean, keep going. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
just black man.
Black
Just
conservative. I mean, just checking all the boxes, man. Check it. I mean, service
He's
academy,
minority conservative.
minority.
I'm a black.
I know black.
Yeah, and he's part Indian. He's Cherokee.
And he's got it. The whole minority fucking group.
I'm not
Like,
Cherokee.
Chalk talk.
Thank you. Fine.
Whatever. You
Not
say
Shock
tomato.
Top the beer. Shock Top from Oklahoma.
Yeah. You say tomato, I say ketchup. CJ checks all the boxes. You know, in his applications, like, dude, he has to check everything. He's everything. Like he is a fucking dream hire. He's like, oh, really? We don't have one of those? Oh, we got one of those.
They
Bring
cover
in,
everything with one hire. They get it all. They get it all.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Hermaphrodite. No, just my bad. A little
Fine.
bit. Sorry, CJ.
Time out on the play.
Yeah. But guys, welcome. We are live on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Thanksgiving week, everybody. We have big rivalries. When I think of, I know people think Iron Bowl, right? But for me, when I think of Thanksgiving week college football,
I know
it's it's ASU, U of A, man. And yes, CJ, I know it's been a big deal in my life. My best friend, Richard Dice, the Dice Man.
Oh my god.
Number 17, dude. If you haven't seen it, they replay that shit when there was a Pac-12 network. By the way, is there a Pac-12 network anymore?
No.
I know there's only 2 teams in the conference. Are they just
There was barely a
just
Pac-12 network when the shit was running.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's ASU, U of A. It's gonna be fire. It's one of those Iron Bowls. It's one of those Auburn shitty, Alabama good. It doesn't matter. Throw the records out. They hate each other, and hate is not even a strong enough word. Yes or yes?
And this game this weekend, this one's got a lot of implications. A ton. Because they usually don't mean shit. Like, they literally don't mean shit.
No.
Like, in the standings, in the rankings, in the conference, they don't mean shit. This game this weekend, down there in Arizona, that game means all the shit.
It just speaks towards the CFP expanded playoff haters who try to speak against this amazing greatness. This has been the best college football season by far and none in probably the history of the sport. Like, we're looking in week 14. Oh, Eddie.
No.
I love it. I love the playoff. I would like it a little tweaked. We're gonna get into that. And all I gotta say is Boise State. But I love it. There should have been a playoff a long time ago. But this season lacks a little luster for me, only because the Nick Saban's doing college football on TV as a
what?
No, it's true.
Oh, this is the terrible take, Eddie. I'm sorry. Nick Saban becoming a commentator, I think, has probably been one of the most interesting and probably one of the most better things for ESPN.
No. I love him. I think he's doing a great job. It's just like when Tom Brady retired. It's like you want to see the best coach, doing it still. That's the only reason I say it lacks. I love the job he's doing. I think he's great. He looks uncomfortable at times. He has a great dry humor and personality. I've always been a Nick Saban fan, but I just feel like Nick Saban with this team at Alabama, I think they win the SEC.
Oh, the way it is this year, I don't think they would have lost a game.
Oh my God.
I'm dead serious. I don't think they would have lost a game. The games they've lost is because they've been outcoached.
Gosh.
The games they've lost, they've been outcoached. They've been unprepared.
Jalen Milroe is not a fucking quarterback. He's not.
He took him to a national championship last year.
He's not a quarterback. He's not. No, he did not take them to a national championship.
He was there. He was there.
He took them to a semifinal.
They went to the semifinal. He beat Georgia in the SEC title game. Yes. With Nick Saban there this year, the way their schedule is broke down, they don't lose this game to Oklahoma. Look at the games they lost. They lost to Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, and at Tennessee. Like, come on.
Two people. There's two people
because of the fucking head coach.
And the quarterback.
He ain't big time.
And the quarterback. Both of them.
Listen,
this is the difference between me and y'all. This is the difference between me and this is the difference between me and y'all. I can sit there and watch Alabama, and because I didn't predict Jalen Milroe in the preseason to win the Heisman Trophy winner, I can sit there objectively and say, oh, okay, there's something not right with this team. What does Alabama and Nick Saban usually have? Or for the past, several years since basically
a decent defense.
Hold on. Since Tua got there, what does Alabama consistently have? Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Bryce Young. They've had
quarterbacks. AJ McConnell.
Get the fuck out of here.
AJ McConnell won a title.
Yes. AJ McCannahan. And at the end of the day, yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, AJ. Yeah.
Quarterbacks who can at least.
He said AJ McCannahan, and he said AJ McConnell. Who the fuck are you talking about here?
It's AJ McCarron.
It's the dude. McCarron. We both.
And Craig McElroy. All those guys, Craig McElroy and AJ, are totally different than Jalen Hurts and Tua. Mac Jones is different than those guys, and they all won titles. So don't say
Milroe. Jalen Milroe. If you list the last 5 or 6 great Alabama quarterbacks, Jalen Milroe is the worst one. He's the worst one.
He's
the worst one.
But here's the thing.
He got worse this year.
Alabama was never known
because of the coach.
Alabama was never known for great quarterbacks when they were winning.
Factual.
Listen, you're too young, CJ. I'm
too young. Serious. Are you fucking serious, Eddie?
AJ McCarron.
Name the last 4 or 5. Name the last 4 or 5 Alabama quarterbacks, please. I want to hear them. Please.
We don't need to name them. I'm going to tell you from the very beginning that Saban got there. AJ McCarron, national title. Craig McElroy, national title. Mac Jones, national title. Tua, national title. You see all those turds? They're all fucking turds with the exception of Tua and Jalen Hurts.
You missed it.
The other 3 guys are fucking turds.
I heard the bullshit. The bullshit was so loud it got through the headphones to my ears. You can't call them turds.
When Saban started winning, taking championships, it wasn't on quarterback play. CJ, that's just a truth.
No. That is factual. But they have had quarterbacks who can manage the fucking game. AJ McCarron can at least manage the game to not fucking lose it.
Yes, it was easy to manage the game with fucking Mark Ingram in the back.
Jalen Milroe throws plays. Jalen Milroe throws. Alabama still has a top 5, top 10 recruiting class. Let's not do that shit. Jalen Milroe consistently makes plays to put them in losing situations. It's on his arm. If he can't beat you with his legs, he reminds me of Lamar Jackson.
CJ, you not admitting that the preparation of this team is awful.
It's garbage.
Ridiculous.
It's
the
garbage.
Preparation
it's
of
garbage.
Is awful.
Garbage.
Their preparation is awful.
And garbage. Their quarterback is just as garbage. Just as garbage.
They lost to Vanderbilt and gave up 40 points to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That is on the defense. That rarely happened.
Yes.
Rarely happened to a Saban defense. Okay.
Yes.
Milroe going in there last year and beating Georgia in the SEC title game.
Oklahoma.
I didn't, dude. They're in. Yes, the Oklahoma game was on. Hey, I don't like Milroe, but I don't like black quarterbacks. So let's be real. I'll tell you the fucking truth. Okay, you watch C.J. Stroud running out of the end zone this past weekend. The fuck out of here. You know I don't like black quarterbacks when they got to throw the ball. That's just the truth. But the fact that it's definitely Nick Saban, you're going to tell me that Nick Saban is not worth 2 more wins on this team? You got to be out of your mind. That's a disrespectful statement.
I'm not making that argument.
Put Tom Brady on any NFL team, and that motherfucker's worth at least 3 wins. Nick Saban is worth 2 wins, especially against Vanderbilt and that awful Oklahoma team.
Nobody said Nick Saban wasn't worth 2 wins. Nobody said that shit. I'm saying that you can look at Alabama and make 2 conclusions. Bad quarterback, bad coach. Both. You can look and say both.
Listen, we're going to get into a deep dive in Oklahoma and into Alabama in a little bit because I got something for you that's going to shock you.
I got stats too, so I'll say it.
But let's get into our college football predictions, college football playoff. It comes out tonight from ESPN. We're going to give you ours first, and I'll go first, Ed. I'm going to
Thank
start.
you.
I'll start at number 12. I'm going to put at number 12 the Arizona State Sun Devils as the winner of the Pac-12, as the winner of the Big 12. I think they're, and this is just this week leading up to, we still have one more weekend. So this is before all the playoff spots. I mean, the championship games are actually decided. I'm going to put Arizona State at number 12. At number 11, it's going to come as a shock to people, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. I think it's Clemson at number 11. Okay. They had a bad game against Louisville, and they had an awful game, second half against Georgia. They were in that game the first half. The Louisville game was disgusting. Number 10, I have another ACC team, SMU. They've done what they're supposed to do, as Indiana has, except Indiana's not on my list, and we'll get to that later on. At number 9, I have Tennessee. Tennessee's done, they've played, well. They're staying in there, and they're in the top 10. I got up at 9. I got Georgia at number 8. They're in the SEC title game. I thought they were actually going to win the SEC. I thought Texas would beat them the first time. They're probably going to face Texas again, and it's hard to beat a good team twice. At number 7, I have Notre Dame. They've looked great. I mean, one bump in the road. The rest of the time, they've literally annihilated teams. Like, they're not just beating teams; they're beating the fuck out of teams. They're putting the fuck to motherfuckers. At number 6, we have Penn State, the Nittany Lions, Big Ten, third best team in the Big Ten. They're a staple to always be the third best team in the Big Ten. At number 5, Ohio State. This week, I think next week they beat Oregon in that title game. That's on me. That's just letting you know right now. Number 4, Boise. And number 4, because they're the highest division winner, blah, 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 or conference winner, and they'll be the highest ranked. They're at 4. Do I think they deserve a 4? No. Do I even think they deserve the top 12? Hell no. Number 3, Miami, the highest ranked ACC team. And if they win this weekend, tough game at Syracuse. But if they win, they're in the ACC title game more than likely against SMU. At number 2, Texas, number 1 team in the SEC right now. And then at number 1, the number 1 team in the planet is the Oregon Ducks. So that is my 12-1. I left out Indiana, and we'll get to that later on.
Yes, sir. All good stuff here, but I have some differences, Rafa, and they're not major. But let's start up at 12. And I know you don't agree with this, but I have the Hoosiers in at number 12. We'll talk about it a little later, strength of schedule and all that. That game, very deceiving if you just look at the scoreboard. 2 horrific plays on punt team. Anyways, I'm going with Indiana at number 12, okay? Number 11, I'm going with the ACC number 2 runner-up, SMU. 10, I am going Arizona State, Sun Devil University, because I think they win the Big 12, and I think the winner of the Big 12 should be higher than I think,
I completely disagree with that. I'm gonna let you finish.
It's a 4-way tie. Okay. 4 teams at 6-2. Is that a bad? Is it bad that there's 4 teams at 6-2, or is it good? Anyways, I move on. At number 9, I got the Vols, Tennessee. 8, I have Notre Dame, who I think is overrated, but you got to put them there. 7, I have Georgia. 6, I had Penn State, who should have freaking lost to the Gophers. 5, obviously Ohio State. 4, Boise State, because you have to. 4, Miami. 3, Texas. 2, Texas, and 1, the Ducks. Did that go right? I don't know. But either way, that's what I have.
Disagree. I want to disagree.
Yeah, of course. That's what the show is about.
Yes. So here's my issue with the Big 12 comment. Can I make the take that Kansas is the best team in the Big 12?
Well,
Kansas right now is the best team in the Big 12.
They're playing the best at this point, but I don't know if they're a better team. I think if they face the physicality of the Sun Devils, I think the Sun Devils have a better coach. I think Arizona. Yeah, so I think at this point, I think Arizona State, And the thing about Kansas started off in the top 25. I like Jalen Daniels early in the year. I told you that. But they struggled, and they struggled in some games, and now they're playing well, but it's too little too late.
Rafa,
So
just for my argument's sake, they beat Iowa State, they beat Colorado, and I'm blanking on the third team they beat, but they beat 3 ranked teams in BYU. They beat 3 of the best teams in the Big 12 back to back.
No, and they only lost by 1 to Kansas State. I mean,
Right.
like, listen, there is no doubt about it. The problem is that it's too little too late.
Right, I understand that, but I'm
That's
saying
the
right,
thing.
like right now, like today, November 26, 2024. I'm saying that Kansas should be-
The problem is that they're 4-4.
Yes, I understand that. I'm saying
So how can
today,
you say
today,
okay,
today. Can you give me that at least today?
I guess.
No, I agree.
Yeah. What does that mean?
No, I listen.
It's for argument's sake.
I agree with you that Kansas, for argument's sake, yeah, they're playing the best. The problem is we can't put them in. We can't put them in there.
Of course not. I'm
We
sincere.
can't put them
Why
in
wouldn't
there.
you? Why wouldn't you say that Arizona's playing the best though?
Arizona State, you mean?
Arizona State.
Because Kansas has on back-to-back weeks now had 3 big wins. That's what he's
Versus
saying.
the 3 of the best teams in the
With
conference.
3 of the best teams in the conference. That's what he's
They
saying.
just
And if you
whooped
go back
up on
up,
BYU, they just
and
whooped BYU's ass.
Yeah,
So
but if
did
you go-
Kansas.
if you go back a 4th week,
No,
can
that
go
was a
no.
barn
That's what.
burner.
What I'm saying though is if you go back a 4th week with Kansas, just for Kansas' sake, and we're talking about Kansas Jayhawk on fucking college football playoff Tuesday,
Rock chalk.
which we should not be doing because it's not college basketball fucking Tuesday. It's college football playoff Tuesdays. But anyways, if you go back a 4th week with Kansas, they lost by 1 to Kansas State in a barn burner, which they had the lead late. So but anyways, yeah, Kansas could be the best team right now in the Big 12. Doesn't matter. They're not playing for shit, unfortunately, after this weekend. They got to win this weekend just to get into a bowl game. I believe they're 5-6. So anyways, so those are our college football playoff picks. That's our prediction. But obviously the rankings will come out in an hour and a half or so. We'll see a lot of different things.
Let me bring this last thing up on Kansas, Rafa, because this was going to be the most intolerable 3 to 4 weeks in college football history.
They saved us.
Because everyone saw this coming. Colorado was going to be in the Big 12 championship. Colorado was going to have Shedeur and Travis Hunter in New York. I mean, Deion and Colorado was going to be on the top of college football pinnacle of the mountain and talking their shit. We come in and all this shit. Kansas whooped their ass. It was never close. Was never close.
Well, it was 20-14 for a second, but I got you.
Well,
it was dominant. The score
no.
should have been a lot. Yeah,
it was dominated. No doubt about it. I'm
dominant.
not saying no.
And
all
you know
right.
what? To all the content creators out there, it hurt us because we were gonna have. I mean,
Colorado cheerleaders.
Oh yeah.
Everybody. Huge. I finally, after 2 years, a year and a half, I finally said, "Oh, they're good," and then they go out and do that shit.
I feel like every time I buy into it, they let us down.
They left CJ. They left CJ, and he built his own mountain.
Mount Wowo was so warm. It was so warm up there. Like I was from Mount Wowo for the last 2 years was so cold. It was and then it got warm. I started taking off my shirt and my clothes. It got warm. I started sweating, and then the shit just fucking froze over. Fuck.
Yeah.
But moving on, I have some grades for you. I want to do something. I want you guys to give these teams grades based on preseason expectations versus how the team is doing right now. So we'll go Eddie first, then Rafa, obviously. Number 16, South Carolina. Eddie, what is your grade for South Carolina?
I'm going to give South Carolina a B+. Not much expected, and played almost everyone tough. I know they had a tough first game of the season against who was it that they played right off the bat? Was it Georgia or Clemson or I don't know. But anyways, it didn't look very good. Shout out to the Cox, man. B+. You get a B+.
I give South Carolina an A+. I really do. I give South Carolina an A+. I think, they're 7-3. They've had one of the toughest schedules. I think they're 17th in strength of schedule. Their 3 losses, really 2 losses, really close games. The game against Bama, they lose by 2. They were winning that game. The game against LSU, they lose by 3. The only game that they really looked outmatched was the Ole Miss game, where Ole Miss just went in there at 27-3. But South Carolina should be an A+. Nobody saw them at 7-3, right there in the middle of the SEC. And to be honest with you, if they go in there and beat Clemson this weekend, and we just went through the playoff. If they go in there and beat Clemson this weekend, I strongly have a case for South Carolina. No. I'm sorry.
Oh, hell no.
And listen, when we get to the Indiana part of the show, where I will sit there and annihilate their schedule and their stats and their strength of schedule and etc., and I will put that shit to shame. South Carolina should be, and they're a better team than Indiana. That's just my hot take.
But okay,
on this cold day.
I remember what the horrible loss that South Carolina had.
They had one horrible loss to Ole Miss. That's it.
No.
Run it, Eddie. Run it, Eddie.
There is a much, much worse loss, and it's relevant to today.
Run it.
Okay. They lost to the University of North Carolina, the University of National Champions, 31-17, week 1. And now look where UNC is. UNC just fired a legend, and I don't know how you fire a legend, but they did. And
I don't know where you're getting that game.
Eddie, they did not lose that game. They've lost 3 games. They've lost
UNC,
3 games.
September 2nd. Oh, wait, is that from last year?
No, they did not play UNC.
Completely wrong.
Last year.
They lost to LS garbage ass U.
They were not garbage. Listen, they lost to LSU by 3. At that point of the season, LSU was playing better. And by the way, South Carolina.
Don't say that shit.
Listen,
LSU played UCLA close.
And USC, and they lost USC. Listen, Texas, they annihilated Texas A&M. Annihilated them 44-20. They were beating Bama and they lost that game by 2. Okay. The only game that they played, they were underdogs in most of these games as well, by the way. Okay. The only game that they got their ass whooped was the 27-3 game against Ole Miss. That is it. Okay. Yeah. When you look at the teams that they played, LSU was ranked 15 when they played them. Bama was in the top 10. Ole Miss was in the top 10. Okay.
They put a whooping on Kentucky.
And they beat the shit. Who plays tough, who played Georgia tough. Kentucky always plays tough. That's the thing about Kentucky and the SEC. They always play tough. Okay. They put the fuck to Kentucky. They put the fuck to Texas A&M, who's playing Texas this week. And if they wouldn't have lost that game at Auburn this weekend, they'd have a chance to make that SEC title game. And they put the fuck to them. Okay. And you watch the game against Bama and you watch the game against LSU and the game against LSU. LSU had to make a comeback in that game. Okay. You can kind of talk about South Carolina not being ready to take that next step. But at 7-3, South Carolina, with the schedule that they've had, by the way, which is top, they're 17th in the country on strength of schedule. Okay. According to college football source or whatever. Okay. So, and they play Clemson this weekend, 7-3. They beat Clemson this weekend, who's ranked in the rankings at 12. We don't know if they get into a playoff spot when the rankings come out tonight. But the USA Top 25 Coaches Poll, whatever, have Clemson at 12, South Carolina at 15 or 16. If they beat Clemson this weekend, South Carolina, I think, will have a case to maybe be the last playoff team. That's all. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm giving you better scenarios.
Well, it's possible for sure.
So they don't have a bad loss. CJ, listen. Let's get. What's the next topic? Let's go through this topic. A+ for South Carolina in my eyes. Let's go on to the next one.
I was so with you until you start going on to that bullshit. Number 14, Arizona State.
Oh, that
go ahead, Ed.
That's an A+. That's an A+ for me. I love the coach. I love his scheme. He's all about scheme. He's an underdog. You know, like I said last week, he comes from, he was an OC at Auburn. He is an OC at Oregon. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been in big games. He's young. I don't see him being there very long, but Sun Devils, man. A+.
A plus for me. Kyle Dillingham. I said it last week. Shocker. He's going to be the next coach at Auburn. If Hugh Freeze gets fired, they'll buy him out, whatever it takes. He will be the next head coach at Auburn, and I think they're going to win the Big 12. A+ for Arizona State.
Yeah, and he's been there before, so makes a lot of sense.
Number 6, Georgia.
Georgia, I'm gonna say a C+. Okay, a lot of hype. Just like last year, who's gonna beat them? No one could touch them. I think the defensive coordinators get great. Obviously, my issue is with the quarterback, and I never believed in him. He's let him down. He's had a lot of bad turnovers, and that's a place where you're set up for success, and he's really let them down. So, and they don't run the ball very well, which is crazy. How do you not have 6 great running backs, the best offensive line? Georgia has struggled offensively, offensive line, quarterback, and running back. C+.
I think for me, Georgia's a D. I thought Georgia would have one loss at this point in the season, and I thought it was going to be to Texas. I thought Texas was going to be undefeated, but lose to Georgia in the SEC title game. I thought Georgia was going to win the SEC title. I just thought they were going to have one loss, and it would have been to Texas. They just haven't looked good all year long. I give them a D. And it could turn into an A+, because if they go out and win this weekend, which they probably will, and they go out and beat Texas next weekend, then all is good.
Which we've seen.
And we've seen it once already, and it was a dominant performance by Georgia. So
dominant.
But as of right now, it is a D. For D.
All right. Number 13, Alabama.
Go ahead, Ed.
Alabama, because I had very high expectations, I'm going to give a C-. I said DeBauer, these shoes were almost impossible to fill, and it's turning out that it was. Alabama, scored 3 points against Oklahoma. They haven't scored 3 points. It's the lowest point scored in the game since 2004. That was pathetic. There's no excuse for it. When Saban left, he didn't leave the cupboard empty. That cupboard was full and rich and fertilized, and DeBauer has ran it right into the ground.
Well, I give Alabama a C. I at the beginning of the year, before we even got into college football, I never thought Bama was going to be even in the title game. I never liked the hire, Kellen DeBoer. I didn't like it at all. Not even a little bit. I told you this was too big of a job for him. I know they couldn't get certain guys or whatever. Way too big of a job for him. He's proven it with a loss at Vanderbilt that hasn't happened since who knows fucking when. Okay. And the loss at Oklahoma is fucking a 5-5 team who's looked awful. And to go there and lose, their losses have been just bad losses. C for me. I didn't think they were going to be great for before the season started. I just didn't think they were going to lose to Vanderbilt. I thought they were a two-loss team.
All right, number 19, BYU.
BYU, I'm going to give another B+. I know quarterback, they were good, but I don't think anyone saw them having this great of a season. A lot of tough games. BYU, it's great to see them in a conference now, and rivalries other than the Holy War with Utah. They were entertaining as hell to watch this year. I mean, and it's great being on the West Coast because they always play late. The Mormons soaking and all kinds of shit. 27-year-olds with at left tackle. BYU is always interesting, but I'm really glad to see them do well. They had some really, really good games, and I'm gonna say B+ for the Mormons.
I'm gonna give BYU an A. I had zero expectations for them. I thought the Big 12 was Arizona's and Utah's to have, and that obviously is that they're the bottom feeders of the conference, and it's all because of BYU and Arizona State and Colorado and Iowa State. So, but BYU definitely had a big part in that, and so shout out to BYU. Great year, however it ends. So an A for BYU, and hey, if they win that Big 12, it's fucking A plus because they're probably in the playoff. They win that Big 12. So
yeah, for sure.
This is shout out to Kalani Sataki. I know him personally. He's my guy. All right. This team is a team that I had low expectations for, but that surprised me actually. Texas A&M.
Oh, A plus. A freaking plus for the head coach's name from Duke. Mike Elko. He gets an A plus. What a tremendous hire. What he did for Duke, and for him to do that immediately, where Jimbo Fisher could not do with every resource known to planet, with number one recruiting classes and money coming out of their ears, and maybe the best fan base in college football, and support and everything, for Mike Elko to come and do this, it should be scary. And people should be very, very afraid of the Aggies and the 12th men. A plus for A&M.
Yeah, I agree. A plus. I didn't see A&M even in the top half of the SEC, and they're way in it up until last week with the tough loss there. So I definitely believe A&M deserves an A plus for sure.
And they have a big game this week. It's not over, man.
It's over.
No, it's not. All right. Last two. Got to give a shout out to the troops. Number 25, Army.
Oh, both service schools A plus. For them to be in the conversation all year long, how could you not give anything but an A plus? I mean, good coaches, both good coaches, great human beings, and I mean, we all wanted Notre Dame to fall flat on their face, but listen, it's just too far of a hill to climb. But that being said, I hope that young men in this country take a strong, hard look at wanting to become a man of honor and go to these service schools, and you can compete and you will be looked at, and you will play great competition. And on top of that, you will gain every American's respect. So that being said, if there's more than A plus for Army, I hope that coach stays. He's going to be a hot commodity. But
Jeff Monken's been there for years.
Yeah, Monken's been there for years. But I mean, his name's already being brought up for North Carolina. So,
gosh,
yeah,
no,
I agree with that.
And why wouldn't you? And why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
So that's my take.
I agree with Eddie. A plus for Army. Being in the conversation basically for the last 3 or 4 weeks, being so close. Notre Dame's a tough team. They're playing well. They're not. People are saying they're not playing anybody, but they're beating the crap out of teams. So, but kudos to Army. A plus for sure.
Before we move on, go ahead.
No. West Point's, I believe they're building a new stadium. To be able to say that you are a West Point graduate, to me, it's on the level of Stanford. To me, it's one of the Princeton, Yale. To say that you got into West Point, and I know kids personally that have got in, which is very difficult. You need letters from senators, and it's extremely difficult to get into West Point. But then it's another thing to actually make it through, because they don't give a shit. And the CJ being with the Air Force Academy, they don't give a shit. It's already hard to be a student there with the training, because everyone trains. Everyone wakes up at 4:30. But you're doing double time if you are playing an athletic sport.
Oh my gosh! Don't even get me fucking started.
You know.
So I just have a thing to say before we move on to the next topic. Notre Dame, fuck you, because every single year You decided to be fucking shitty, and you've decided to blow 3 or 4 unnecessary games in the year that we wanted the fucking service academies to get there. You decide to be good. Marcus Freeman, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck Notre Dame. Fuck the Catholics. Fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. I got fuck all of you.
Whoa, CJ.
That's like a billion people on the planet, man.
Fuck them because we wanted the troops. We wanted the troops, man. All right.
There's Catholics in the troops too.
I'm Christian, so I'm kind of shooting my own people.
Yeah, it's fucking friendly fire over here.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So me and Rafa were talking about it, and
Rafa. Jesus Christ.
I have the biggest issue with Rafa because he feels like this Indiana team deserves no respect. So I'm going to give him the stage. I'm going to give you the floor to give this bullshit reasoning of why they don't deserve to be. Go ahead. Go. The floor is yours, Rafa. Go.
All right. So I have plenty of Indiana hate. And I've had, you could chime in, by the way, Eddie or CJ, whenever you want.
Yeah, please.
But they this weekend proved, like Eddie's saying, oh, the game, listen, what they were supposed to punt on 6, they were going to punt on 6 straight possessions. They punted 5. They had 1 punt block, bad snap, whatever the fuck it was. Okay. But other than that,
great snap.
They were still punting. They were still punting. Okay. So they gave up a punt return for touchdown. They were irrelevant from the 5-minute mark of the first quarter until the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter. What the fuck happened the rest of the game? For you to be a playoff team, you got to be in the, like, you got blown the fuck out. Like, the game was a blowout. By the way, so I'm gonna give you something real quick, and this is per College Football Network. Okay, these are strength of schedule. So I'm gonna give you some teams who I believe all should be in front of Indiana. Clemson, their strength of schedule 55, BYU 56, Arizona State 60, Miami 61, SMU 64, Indiana 65. Okay, and then I'll give you a couple more. Georgia, just so you have some of the top teams. Georgia at 9, Bama at 13, Bama at 10, Texas at 13, A&M at 15, South Carolina at 17. The 17th toughest schedule. Now I'm going to give you something that it should be a shocker, right? And I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, Alabama should still be in the college football playoff over Indiana. And I'm going to tell you why. Alabama, the records of their opponents are a combined 81 and 41. 40 games over 500, the teams that they've played. Okay, these are the teams that they've played against. 81 and 41. That also includes Mercer, who's 9-2 in there. Okay, they played a shitter, yes, but Indiana played shitters. Florida International. Okay, and let's look, because I got it all written down here for you. All right, so Indiana 3-8. All right, 4-8. 4-7, 4-7, 4-7, 4-7, 5-6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've played 7 teams, 7 teams with a losing fucking record. And it's not like, oh, it's 5-6. Oh no, there's 1 5-6. Then their opponents combined record 56 and 66. 10 games under 500. Even their shitter teams that they played, their garbage teams that they played, they're also more trash than Mercer, at least, who's 9-2 against Alabama. By the way, just so you know, South Carolina also, their head-to-head opponents, they're over 500 as well. They've played some shitters, but they got some 8-win teams in there. Oh, Indiana's schedule is atrocious. And I know they can't do anything about it, but we cannot just give it to them. And yes, we're giving it to them because they barely beat Michigan, who's been god-awful, okay? And they were at home. They barely won that game, and they've been god-fucking-awful, okay? They've been atrocious. Oh, they beat the shit out of Nebraska, and Nebraska played Ohio State tough. Nebraska's 6-5, okay? We're not doing that shit. Because if we're doing that shit, Texas A&M shouldn't be ranked 15. They got blown the fuck out by South Carolina.
Or Texas.
Dude. Indiana. We're not going to go
head-to-head.
Hold on. Indiana's head-to-head, the teams that they've played are god awful. You've played 4 teams with a winning record. 4 teams out of 11. You can try.
No, it's very simple. It's very simple. I can't debate your facts, but you're leaving a huge piece of the puzzle, which is a fact, out of that. Their margin of victory is bigger than Ohio State's margin of victory.
It better
They kicked everyone's ass, Rafa. It's not like they squeaked by. They didn't squeak by. They didn't squeak by these bad teams.
They squeaked by Michigan. They squeaked by Michigan.
In Michigan.
No, it was
in Michigan.
By 2 points or 10. Oh, by 5. Dude, they barely squeaked by.
It's still Michigan. It's still Michigan. You can't play both. You can't play both sides.
No, it's not still Michigan. It hasn't been Michigan, period. They barely squeaked by Michigan. We'll
see this week when Ohio State fucking struggles with Michigan.
That's a different game, and
that's what my point is.
No. What's Indiana's rival? What is Indiana's rival?
I don't have one because they've sucked forever.
What? So you don't have a rival. And Ohio State, listen, they played Ohio State, and the game wasn't even close. It was not even close. You can think in your head that it was. They went to punt on 6 straight possessions.
Closer than you think.
I'm not the only one who's saying
closer
it.
Than I think.
Closer than you think.
I'm not the only one that's saying it.
Right, let's go through it.
Watch the game.
Can I say something? Can I say something? Okay. So the score to the game was 38-15. And so as an offensive guy and as somebody who's played football for a while, I think what were the key factors to the game? There's 3 aspects to football. There's offense, there's defense, and there's special teams. 14 of those 38 points were scored on special teams. So what that told me was that Indiana was 2 adjustments from it being a 38-14 game from a 25-14 game.
No, you know what that tells me? That you're not special enough to play in a big fucking game. That's the thing. And I'm going to tell you right now. Listen to this. The first drive of the game, they went 11 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. After that, Ohio State turns the ball over on downs. The next drive, 6 plays for 8 yards. Oh, God, really close, huh? The next one, 3 plays, and they fumble on the punt. All right? The one after that, 8 plays for -4 yards. You ready? Oh, no, it looks really good here. How about the first possession of the second half? 3 plays for 8 yards. Wow. How about the next drive? 5 plays. 3 plays. God, guys.
Let me stop you here because you didn't watch the fucking game. You didn't watch the game. So when you look at
there's 3 play drives. What am I watching when there's 3 play drives?
Because
there's more to the story.
What happened? Okay? They could not.
What happened?
You're not looking at the sacks that were negative fucking 12 yards.
They were running
the ball.
Yes.
They ran the ball all over Ohio State. They ran the ball all over Ohio State.
They had 71. Okay, listen. Ty Lawton had 79 yards. That last time on 15 carries. Justice
that's good.
That's 62 yards.
Versus Ohio State, that's good.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. We'll take away the negative yards. They had 141 yards rushing. Okay, they had 149 yards rushing. The problem that I have here is that they have a drive where they had 6 plays, and let's rewind the 6 plays. They get a play for 9 yards, 2nd and 1. Then on 3rd down they get 17. 1st down they get 2. Then on 3rd and 1 they get a false start, and then they get sacked. All right, so they get sacked. So you're not good enough to not get sacked.
17 yards. 17 yards. You're just going by the 17-yard play.
You still got sacked. You still got sacked.
That was an issue. That was 100% an issue.
Guess what, Ed? That's part of the game.
So all we're saying is that the best team, the best game that they had, they were 4 or 5 adjustments away from making it a way closer game. If this is
Alabama's 4 or 5 adjustments away from being undefeated. There's no time for that.
They lost 2 games, though.
Listen,
2.
The game
3. I'm sorry, 3.
Listen, you can say
Alabama
that you played
scored
football.
3 points.
You can say that you played football in Division I and St. John Bosco or whatever the fuck. Then you should understand that the game, there's 3 phases. Offense, defense, and special teams. You are not special enough, Indiana, to fucking play against goddamn Ohio State. You're special enough to go play against the special needs teams in Michigan. That's all that's left at fucking Michigan right now. The fucking turds in Washington, all that's left there is crap. Okay, that's who you're special enough. FIU, super special. You're great, Indiana, against FIU. But against Ohio State, you're trash. I wish you would have played Penn State. You would have got your nuts kicked in, too. They are not deserving because they beat the shit out of sorry-ass teams. Liberty wasn't worthy 2 years ago because they're not good. They don't play real dudes. These guys didn't play anyone. The one team they played against, they had 6 straight possessions where they punted. Guess why they punted? Because they got sacked. They couldn't block.
Ask you a question. Are you going to keep the same energy? Are you going to keep the same energy for Texas?
Texas is one loss. I mean, I don't know.
The same as fucking Indiana.
And Indiana hasn't played any. Texas, come on.
Can I run you Texas' schedule real quick? Oh, Colorado State. Oh, Colorado State. Michigan. The same Michigan that you call trash. UTSA.
Hold on. Real quick, so you know, Colorado State is a 2-loss team. Just so they have 2 losses.
In the Mountain West. The state Mountain West that you said. JD.
CJ, wait. When I broke down their schedule here, Indiana's schedule against the garbage-ass teams that they played, this is what I see. So you're giving me Colorado State, who's 9-2. I'm giving you FIU. They're 9-2, right?
Mountain West.
Okay. I'm giving you FIU, who's 3-8. That's an Indiana opponent. You want to give me 3-8? I'm giving you the
UTSA.
I'm telling you the trash. That's why I went through 3 teams and I took all the garbage teams that they played. Alabama played a garbage team in Mercer. Yes. Mercer's 9-2 in Division II. Fine. FIU is 3-8. Another team that Indiana played that I don't have it pulled up here. 4-8, 4-7, 4-7, 4-7, 4-7. Okay. Find me that on Texas's schedule. The turns that they played.
UTSA,
find me that. Listen, by the way, and Texas went into Michigan. Texas went into Michigan. Texas went into Michigan and beat the fuck out of Michigan. Okay, Texas went in against Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl and beat the fuck out of Oklahoma. That's the difference. They beat the fuck out of those teams.
Indiana has one of the largest margins of victory in the country.
Against no one. Against absolutely
okay.
Nobody.
Let me say something. Okay, Klatt came out with the strength of schedule. It's different than yours. Indiana?
Mine's based on rankings. Mine's
Indiana 52nd, Miami 59th, SMU 77, Notre Dame 78. Indiana, according to this strength of schedule, is 52nd.
Well, I'm going to tell you because mine is
I'm using what Joe Klatt. I'm using what Joe Klatt was using.
This is per College Football Network. So that's what they're using. That's what they're using. They're taking
Joe Klatt isn't a
Joe
Klatt went to Colorado. He didn't go to Indiana. So
I don't know. Joe Klatt's been sucking Deion's dick for 2 years. I don't know. I don't give a shit about Joe Klatt just because he's on fucking TV. What does he know about fucking putting lists like this together?
Those aren't his rankings. He pulled the rankings. They're not his.
Listen, I'm giving you a source. You're just giving me Joe Klatt, some fucking moron on TV. I'm giving you an actual brand. I'm giving you a College Football Network, an actual website with actual data. Actual data.
College Football Network. What the fuck is that?
Look it up. They have data on everything.
Who's behind College Football Network?
A huge fucking thing. They have
another idiot. Another fucking idiot. Like, that's not on TV.
Website. It's an actual website. But just so you know, their number 1 strength of schedule team is Michigan. That's who they had at number 1. It's the toughest schedule. And they do it at week to week. It adjusts week to week as teams win and lose. It adjusts week to week. Okay? You guys can sit here and fight for Indiana all you want. Wonderful. It doesn't shy away from their combined opponents are 10 games under 500. Alabama's combined opponents are 40 games over 500. 40 fucking games over 500. Not 10 under. 40 over. South Carolina's strength of schedule against their opponents that they face, they have a winning. All of their opponents combined have a winning record. Indiana's is 10 games under. They have 7 teams that they have faced that don't have 4 wins this year. That's what I'm talking about. They have
Matthew Rocha. I agree with you, Matt. Matthew Rocha said Indiana with 1 loss to Ohio State should be in the playoffs. Now, if they lose to Purdue, I understand that. But my bet is they run it up again. And that's exactly what I have. I have Ohio State and Indiana in the first round of the playoffs.
And they'll fucking lose by 30 again. That game wasn't it. You guys can love.
Everyone's saying it, Rafa. Everyone who watched the game. Everyone who watched the game said the same thing.
I don't
This
know. I
score
don't need to
was
watch
not-
the
you-
six play
you
drives.
should watch
Three-play
it.
drives.
You should watch it.
It was
You
28
should watch
to 7. It was 28 to 7.
You should
guys
watch the
You
game.
guys want to use these hypotheticals for Indiana? Oh, if they don't get sacked for
What
17-yard loss.
hypothetical?
That's what you said. You guys
Yeah.
use that. If they don't get lost, if they don't get lost for 17
You're not
yards,
using any hypotheticals.
you
You're not
said,
using
oh,
any
they got sacked for 17 yards. They could not block it. They could not block Ohio
They
State.
could not protect. Yes.
They could.
Listen,
You cannot protect, but you could protect them
listen.
against
This game was a 7-7 game with the less than 2 minutes. The punt from their back, it wasn't a bad snap. The ball was right into the punter's hands, and it fucking goes out, and they fucking scored a touchdown, and they walk into half 30 seconds later.
Listen, the second drive Indiana had,
For them to beat Ohio State, it was going to be a monumental thing. But what couldn't happen is you couldn't beat yourself, and you couldn't.
Dude, Ohio State had 2 turnovers in the first half. They turned it over on downs, and after they get the sack in the red zone, they turn it over themselves.
But they're so much better. They're so much better.
Of course, they're so much better.
They're so much better than everyone.
Indiana does
than
not
everybody except for one team. They're better than everybody in the country except for
besides the team that lost to.
And we don't know about that next week.
All right, well, we're going to
Ohio State. I hope they play somebody in the playoff. It is going to be just like Florida State last year. They didn't deserve to be. They didn't deserve it. The playoff committee got it right. Indiana doesn't deserve it. Everybody can think they deserve it.
They didn't deserve it.
If Indiana was in a different conference, if Indiana was in Conference USA, nobody would give a flying fuck about it. They'd be fucking liberty.
Before we move on, TJ. Indiana, Boise State. Who wins?
Boise. Boise. And they both suck dick. They both suck dick. I'll tell you what. Give me. What's the best game? What's the best game that Boise's played? What's the best game that Boise's played?
Against Oregon.
A 37-34 loss, right?
Yeah.
That's a 37-34 loss. That's the one team that they've played. The one team that Indiana's played, they got their ass whooped, annihilated. They had 6 straight possessions where they punted.
You keep on saying Nebraska's 6-5. Nebraska, it was at home. Nebraska's not a team.
Nebraska's 6-5. They're not a team.
Yeah, I know.
They're not a team.
We're moving on.
Guess who's not bowl eligible? Who's not bowl eligible? 7 teams that Indiana played against are not bowl eligible. 7.
We're moving on.
They whooped their ass.
We're moving on. The greatest thing about it is, Rafa, and I would just say we're moving on. The greatest thing about it is Indiana's getting in the playoff, no matter if you like it or not. They're getting in.
No, they are. They shouldn't. And it's a shame because Alabama has a better strength of schedule, okay, and a way better strength of schedule, and a way better quarterback, and a way better roster, and they should get in.
Alabama scored 3 points.
Against Oklahoma.
3 points against Oklahoma, who had 1 conference win before
This is all true. This is all
garbage.
True. But Alabama every week.
They're 2-6 in conference.
Alabama every week plays a dog every week. Every week they play a dog. Indiana plays a retard every week. Have you ever seen a white boxer? White boxers, those are the sick ones. They play white boxers every week.
They're in the Big Ten.
Big Ten, and they got the shit schedule of the Big Ten. They got lucky. They got the shit schedule. No Penn State, no Oregon.
They're not in the Mountain West. They didn't play you. I mean, let's
not even do that. By the way, just so you know, Alabama played 1 team in the Big Ten, beat them 42-10 on the road. Just so you know. Just throwing that out. 42-10. 42-10 on the road.
We are moving on.
UNC Chapel Hill's calling me, but I won't answer that. I don't know what the fuck's
my
going on there.
Oh. You can take a break, Eddie?
Just go ahead, real quick.
Okay. All right. We'll take a small break.
All right, we're back.
Eddie, you're muted yourself. You said unmute and then you muted yourself. There you go, buddy.
Am I good now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I got a weird phone call. My son goes to the University of North Carolina, and I got a phone call that said UNC Chapel Hill, and I've never got one of those before. Anyways, talk to Sonny. Congrats to Sonny, by the way. Big win, personally, because they lost as a team to the 16th ranked Fighting Illini. But Sonny beat the number 22 or the 20 kid. Tough kid. Illinois has a great team. And but Sonny, we talked to him. He's fine. It's all good. By the way, Rafa and I, we yell like this at each other all the time. Yes. And we'll yell like this and then text about, some stupid shit. So we are professional arguers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Indiana zero sacks on
shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up.
Oh,
he sat there. You know what? And he sat there the whole break. He sat there the entire break.
I was running around like crazy.
Contemplating how he was going to bring that up.
Go ahead. Sure. Let's get on to it. Let's go with it.
Let's speed through these games as fast as we can, please. But we're going to get through the college football season. And this week has so many implications. And we can't say any time before. This is my argument for the best college football season. Never has in week 14, we're sitting there like, I have to watch this game, 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 because they're all important. They all have playoff implications. But we're going to start in the state of South Carolina. Number 18, South Carolina at number 17, Clemson. Clemson is -2.5 with an over-under of 49.5. What are your thoughts on this game? I'll start with you, Eddie.
Like I said earlier, go Cox. They're playing well. There's nothing real special about Clemson to me in my eyes. I don't know. I know they lost some key defensive players. I don't know if they'll be back for this game or not. But I think South Carolina has Mr. Mo on their side. And I just think this is a tough game. Not only that, people in South Carolina, man, it's sort of like an USC UCLA thing. They think one is highly educated, one is, basically, I don't know, Arizona State. I don't know how to put that. But a lot on the line. I think that South Carolina going through an SEC schedule is battle tested. And like Rafa said earlier, really only had one bad loss. And I think South Carolina's sort of flying under the radar here. I love the Cox, man. No Diddy.
Full Diddy for me. full Diddy for me. I like the Cox as well. Get full Diddy. I think South Carolina. I think South Carolina can win this game. This is my dog of the week. +2.5. I think it's gonna be a great game. This has implications that people may not believe. I know a lot of people I know a lot of people don't believe that South Carolina has a chance at that last spot. I think a win against Clemson, a convincing win against Clemson, goes a long way, especially if other teams underperform this weekend. So, but I like South Carolina as my dog of the week at +2.5. I think South Carolina for sure. I think it's gonna be a great game. I think either team only helps their playoff chances. Clemson a little more than South Carolina. Obviously, South Carolina with the three losses. And all three losses were to ranked teams, by the way, all in the top 15. So at that point, right? Yeah. So, but big game for both. I'm cheering for South Carolina. I want South Carolina to win this game.
All right, moving on. We're going to the West Coast, best coast. You know what I'm saying, Rafa, and we are going to go to number 6 Notre Dame, going to the Collie. Notre Dame is -7.5. Over under 51.5. Rafa, what you think about them Trojans, man?
Nothing. I think nothing of them. I think they're absolute garbage. I hate Lincoln Riley. The quarterback, actually, though, had some nice plays last week. against UCLA. He did some things. He made some throws, stepped up in the pocket. He looked good. He looked poised. He looked good. Too. A young player. But you know what? When I watch a young player, there's certain things, at least at quarterback, that I see, and you could be like, this guy's smart. There was a play, I think might have been first down, UCLA in there and backed up in their own territory. He rolls out. He's got his tight end 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he sails it right over his head, right? Throws it out of bounds. Like, I'm not taking a loss for 5 yards. I've watched other quarterbacks in years past. I watched Caleb Williams this weekend run out of bounds for a 2-yard loss. Could have clearly thrown it out. I watched CJ Stroud walk in the back of the end zone.
Shador does it.
Shador does sacks. Take sacks. Horrible sacks.
They take horrible sacks. They literally run out of bounds for a loss of a yard or two. When easily throw that ball away. Decisions like that under duress, it shows you that the kid is mentally tough enough, intelligent enough to play quarterback. With all that said, Notre Dame's put the fuck to teams. They know that they have zero chance of getting in. If they lose this game, I think they put the fuck to the Trojans. I know you like this game, CJ. I think they go in there to the Coliseum. I think they put the fuck to the Trojans, absolutely beat the crap out of them. And Notre Dame will end up with probably the 7 or the 8 seed in the playoff.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
I hate, so just let the record reflect that, I was named after a rental James Simpson. Born, bred, didn't go to school there, obviously. I barely made it through high school. But huge SC guy my whole life. Grew up, 10 minutes or 15 minutes away from the Coliseum. I got a lot of shit for taking UCLA last week. A lot of family members, a lot of old friends. They're like, say, what? You taking UCLA? Yeah. And by the way, quarterback Maeva played well, number 14. What I hated the most was when they won and acted a fool.
Yep.
Acted a fool after that victory, planting flags in the Rose Bowl. It's like a Nick Saban team, not even a Brian Kelly team. A team with discipline doesn't act a fucking fool like the way USC did after beating a overachieving UCLA team. And, I wish, I hate to say this, but I wish that they had lost that game and had to win this game to be bowl eligible. Because I said it last week. And here's the difference in this game. And I agree 100% with Rafa. And this has been USC's issue for going back 10 years. They get bullied. They get bullied in the trenches. And what is Notre Dame great at? Recruiting great freaking offensive linemen, playing sound defense, and running the ball. And I don't think SC has a shot, even being here in the Coliseum. And I know, go ahead, people hate me, but I have to be straight up and tell you what I see. And what I see is Lincoln Riley to let your kids run around like you won the fucking the Fiesta Bowl after you beat UCLA team, like I said, that was has overachieved. It really disappointed me. I wasn't happy, not because I picked UCLA. It's because a well-coached team doesn't do that. That's all I got to say about that.
Factual. I mean, I had an issue with the discipline aspect. Like, bro, you guys are the most underachieving team in the country, one of the most.
Yeah.
But I understood it for the fact that it was a rivalry, and that rivalry does mean something in this area. So that's where I was like, okay, I get it, but y'all are still underachieving. But we're gonna move on to the next game. Number 1 team in the country, Oregon, faces Washington. Washington at number 1, Oregon. Oregon minus 19.5 with the over under at 15.5. Rafa, what you got on the Ducks?
Man, I struggle with Oregon. I know they're really good. I just don't feel like they're always focused on some of these games because I feel like they're a little bit kind of like going back to the Kansas City Chiefs at certain points in the season. That's what I feel like I've seen with Oregon. Like I feel like they should score every fucking time they get the ball. And they're good enough to score every time. Will they, though? I don't think they do.
I feel exactly how you feel. And I've said it. I think Dan Lanning is the best coach in college football right now, even better than Kirby. I get what you're saying, Rafa. Like 19.5, like it's it's Washington. It's a familiar opponent, Northwest rivalry. It feels like too much, even though Oregon has the talent on both sides of the ball to blow everyone out, except for maybe a handful of teams. And Washington hasn't been very good. So I feel you on this, man. If I had a gun to my head, I would probably take the points in Washington.
I just, for me, it's a game where I wouldn't touch. And I'll tell you something. If I'm Dan Lanning, and I know Dylan Gabriel's an outside, and he's probably 4th ranked in the Heisman or something talk right now, I'd let Dylan Gabriel go out and throw 6 touchdowns, run for 1, and have one of those games where everybody's talking about it the next day, right? And to leave that lasting moment out there. Because the Heisman, to me, the Heisman Watch is, off topic a little bit, but we'll get into that later. I'm hesitant to touch anything in this game. I would love for Oregon to go out and actually put the fuck the teams the way they should. I'm hoping Dan Lanning can do that this weekend and make his quarterback at least get back in the talk, maybe even get an invite to New York.
Ricky Flores. Sure. Ricky Flores is in the chat. What's up, Rick? Rick, big UCLA fan. He said agreed. Seemed like they beat the number 1 seed team the way they acted. Yep. And Rick is like a season ticket. They go to every UCLA game. It just didn't have a lot of class. Zach, our college football guy, he's late. What's up, Zach? How you doing, man? But what about you, CJ? I'm curious because you really follow West Coast teams. Mm-hmm. What's your feeling on this game, the Washington and Oregon game?
So the reason you guys are absolutely correct, but the reason why Oregon has seemed the last few weeks like they just don't beat the shit out of teams is because they played 9 straight conference games, and that's not things that a lot of teams do. They're playing back to back weeks. They had a bye season. People don't remember that first bye season or that first bye week was early in the season. It was like week 2 or 3, and then they played a stretch of like 8 straight games. So I think that Oregon is playing, especially versus that Wisconsin game. They played tired. They just got the win. Let's get out of here. Let's get the win. I'm with both of you. I'm not touching this game. It's a weird one. It's a rivalry, and it just feels like it could be close for no reason, and a potential not upset alert, but in that realm. And I wouldn't touch it if I'm a gambling person.
Pac-12 championship last year.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Yeah, it was an absolute ass whooping.
How crazy was that?
Yeah. So moving on to the next game, number 11 Tennessee and Nico Imialava and Vanderbilt. Tennessee minus 10.5 with the over/under at 48.5. Eddie, what's your take on the Vols?
I like Tennessee. I like Pierce, the defensive end. I think the quarterback right here from down the street at Warren. I think he's great. I think he's just too young. I love Vandy, and I've loved Vandy all year. I think Tennessee pulls this game out, but I see it being a 3 to 4 point game. That's just way too many points. And Vandy and the coach and the guys, this is their Super Bowl. This is Alabama was big, but this is Vandy's.
In-state.
This is in-state. This is Nashville. This is a big freaking deal. And Tennessee, at certain points this year, has underachieved. And I just think it's due to, because I love their running game. I love their defense. Quarterback, there's been issues. I see how, I had him going to New York. That's how much I believe in this kid. That's how athletic I think he is. I don't know why my camera shut off. There we go. But I would take Vandy in the points, Rafa.
Yeah, dude, this is a huge game. And Vanderbilt, we've seen how tough they've played. They beat Alabama. They beat Virginia Tech, which a lot of people thought they were going to be a lot better. Virginia Tech's played, decent for what some people thought they were going to win 8 games or 9 games. They beat that team as well. Vanderbilt's played really good for the most part all year long. So if they were to come in and win this game, I mean, this is a huge game for Tennessee. Like, you cannot lose focus here. You cannot lose this game. You lose this game, and I know it's going to put you right. It'll bump Alabama back a little bit more than likely, but because of the head-to-head. But you can't risk losing that game. Tennessee has to be all hands on deck. This is a must-win for them to keep that playoff spot for sure.
Oh man, I mean, Rafa, if they do lose this game, you can't put them in the playoffs, right? Now we're looking at it. We're looking at SEC with only 2 teams in a 12-team playoffs.
That's not happening, and I'll tell you why it's not happening. Because if Tennessee loses, then the committee is going to have a decision to make on how bad Alabama beats Auburn if they do beat Auburn, right? And then they'll kind of and then they'll sit there and they'll break it down and they'll go head to head. And for me, if Tennessee loses, I have to somehow bring in South Carolina if they beat Clemson.
Yes.
I have to bring them up because it would be
the route.
People will be so upset if Alabama gets in over Tennessee because Tennessee won the head-to-head. But if you go back to it, well, Georgia lost to Alabama, and you go through all that whole fucking BCS cycle basically again. So, but yeah, if they lose, Indiana is the only one that benefits more, the one who benefits the most from Tennessee losing.
ACC
Clemson. If Clemson wins and Tennessee loses, and Clemson won't play a title game more than likely if Miami wins. So this game has implications. I mean, all the games, like CJ said, there's a fuck ton of games with a ton of implications. This Saturday, people should be glued in. I will not, because I will be playing golf, as will you, Eddie. So we will be on our phones watching all of this.
Yes. I mean, when's the last time Vandy, Tennessee
meant something
in a football game?
And yes.
Not baseball. Baseball, Vanderbilt's badass.
And Vanderbilt at basketball knocked off Tennessee, number 1 Tennessee, on a Tuesday night many moons ago. So I don't forget that. So, but it's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be a good game to watch. Vanderbilt prepares well. We've seen it all year long. Can they pull out another victory? Will be what we need to see.
Absolutely. All right. For me, the most unquestionable best rivalry in college football, the game, Michigan at number 2, Ohio State. It's not the best rivalry this year because Michigan sucks balls, but overall, Ohio State is minus 21 points, the biggest spread in the history of this rivalry, and the over/under is at 43.5.
It's in the game. It is I don't give a fuck. This is the best rivalry. I have Sonny went to a all-star whatever wrestling thing. We got a personal tour of Ohio State and their football facility. There was at least 20 clocks everywhere. And it had a countdown to the game. This is Yankees Dodgers. This is Celtics Lakers. This is Real Madrid and Barcelona. This is Americana, and I don't give a fuck if it's 21 points. If 21 points, give me Michigan all fucking day, because I saw Indiana run the ball successfully against Ohio State. Now, Ohio State's pass rush, different story. But one thing that Michigan can do is run the ball. 21 points seems way too much. And I know, Rafa, this is one of those games where it doesn't matter what your team is, where you're at. You're in a different mindset. You have been preparing for this game since the last time you played it. I'm getting goosebumps right now fucking talking about it. I'm not fucking joking. I wanted Sonny to either take a visit to Michigan or Ohio State so bad. I'm like, Sonny, whatever you do, can you please put them in your top 5? Because I want to be on the sidelines for an Ohio State and Michigan game. That's like a bucket list thing for me. I think Ohio State is the second best team in the country. I think Ohio State is supremely talented, but this is bigger than talent. This is just the rivalry of. This is what we all wait for every year. Every year, this is what we wait for.
Yeah, usually this game means a little more. Usually it means a little more in the standings, in the conference, etc. But like you said, Eddie, it doesn't matter if I feel like this game is a little bit how Florida State Miami used to be. And by the way, this is the biggest game, regular season game in college football, no doubt about it. To me, in my opinion, it's the second biggest rivalry in sports because I only think Duke, North Carolina basketball, I think is bigger. But I feel like Ohio State, Michigan. I think it's Florida State, Miami. It's Auburn, Alabama. It's Florida, Tennessee. It's those games that people Florida, Tennessee. Florida plays Tennessee so tough. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad, and vice versa. That's how this game is. Oh, this game always just means a lot more. This year, it doesn't mean anything in the standings, really. Ohio State can afford a loss. They'll still be in the playoff. I don't think Ohio State loses. How good does Ohio State play? Do they dominate the game? Probably dominate the game, but we've seen Ohio State just kind of through it a little bit like Oregon. Like they're just kind of going through it and getting the necessary things to win the games. I don't think we've seen the best of Ohio State, as I don't think we've seen the best of Oregon. Except when they played each other, I thought we saw pretty much the best of Oregon and Oregon's game. Yeah, I think Ohio State wins the game. Obviously, I don't know if they cover the 21, but I don't think Michigan's going to score very much. That's the other thing. I could see this game going, I don't know, 20-3, 21-3, 24-6, something like that. So, but I think Ohio State definitely wins, and it's a shame that it's not as big as a game on the field per se. We know the R of the game and all that. So, but Ohio State, I think, wins this game, no doubt about it.
Yep. Yeah. So we're gonna head down south, and a lot of people try to make the argument that this is the best rivalry in college football. The Iron Bowl, the Kick Six, everything. Auburn at number 7, Alabama. Bama minus 11.5 with the over/under at 52.5.
You want to take this? Or
listen, the people. I love the SEC more than Paul Feinberg.
Right?
Woo!
I love him more. I'm not as stupid as he is, right? but this is not the biggest. This is maybe the second biggest college football rivalry, probably. But it's definitely Michigan, Ohio State. I think Alabama is going to destroy Auburn. Not destroy them. I think they cover the 14. I think the blunder they had last week, like if Kellen DeBoer. Like, dude, if you want to assert yourself as an Alabama fucking head coach, and you've had 3 blunders, okay, let's say 2. The game in Tennessee on the road, that was a tough game, top 10 ranked, top 10 matchup, whatever. But the game against Oklahoma and the game against Vanderbilt, you need to avenge those losses, and there's nothing better than to avenge them against an Auburn team, and you should come out and destroy Auburn, because if Tennessee somehow loses and you go in there and destroy Auburn, and put something credible to end the season. And yes, it's Auburn. They've had a bad season, but they just beat Texas A&M in a packed, action-packed fucking game. It was a phenomenal game. If you watch the fourth quarter, the overtime, it was an amazing fucking game. And A&M ends up losing on a drop pass that the kids definitely should have had at least tie the game and extended another overtime. I think Alabama beat them by 14 or more, Ed. What do you think?
I disagree for a couple of reasons. Watching that Oklahoma Alabama game, that quarterback, I can't remember his name, from Oklahoma, he looked like Jalen Milroe. He was making plays with his feet, play after play after play. Auburn last week ran for 301 yards against A&M. Okay, 4 overtimes. I know that you're coming off a high, but the one thing that Alabama's, and we've talked about it, that they don't have, which has always been a mainstay, and CJ, it's not quarterback, it's defense. And Auburn can run the ball. and that is Alabama's Achilles heel, because that quarterback from Oklahoma last week looked like Lamar Jackson. It was insane. They could not stop him. So I've been roll tide all fucking year. I want Jalen Milroe as my quarterback. I thought they would sneak in to this championship game. I thought they were a dark horse to win the national championship. And here I am, week whatever it is, and 12. I'm week 12, and I like Auburn, man. And I like Auburn money line.
Wow.
I know it's crazy.
Technically, it's week 14, but it's everybody's 12th game, final week of the college football season. All right, Ed. So I'm going to take on Kutt, Alabama minus 11.5. Eddie's going to take Auburn plus 11.5. He wants to do money line too. We'll do it all on Kutt, Kutt. You have the our Two Nobodies code on the screen. Bosco Ed and Two Nobodies Ralph will take the action, and we're going to do it on Kutt, Kutt. Download the app. Code word is the number 2 Nobodies for your 10% deposit. You get a 10% bonus on your first deposit.
You know what I'm doing, Rafa?
Yeah.
War Eagle, baby.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Go Tigers. That's
There's a sniper out there.
Fuck them both. Fuck them both.
Fuck them both. Let's get on to the next. By the way, Zach, yes, we discussed all of the college football playoff in the first hour.
Yeah.
If you want to go back and check it out after we get off.
And can I answer Rick Flores' question really quick? What's the difference of Oregon from the past years blowing teams out when they should, and Oregon's strategy this year? Is it not to show too much? It's not. For me, Rick, it's a chemistry thing. They had a shit ton of NIL transfer portal. This team, all new guys, and they're gelling. It's not that they're not showing too much. This team had to find itself. CJ, who's played on amazing teams, I'm sure his whole life, growing up where he grew up, they have really strong football in his area, in the Imperial Valley and Corona and shit like that. You grow up playing with the same guys. You know who's a dude. You know who has good connections. I think Oregon just had so many different pieces that they had to find, who's this. They're just gelling. I don't think that they weren't showing too much, and I think they'll be there at the end. I had Oregon from the get-go as my best team in the country. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. So we're going to go, to the ACC. ACC is looking at a few, possibly 3 teams. If everything pans out the way it should for them, they possibly can get 3 teams in. But number 8, Miami at Syracuse. Miami minus 10.5 with the over-under at 67.5. Rafa, what do you think about this?
I think this is a little bit of a trap game for Miami. They're on the road, right? This game's on the road in Syracuse.
Correct.
Yeah, so I think this is a little bit of a trap game. Syracuse has played a lot better than people have given them credit for. And Vegas is clearly giving them credit at 10.5 here. I think it'll be closer than what it is. Miami needs this win. They cannot afford a loss, because if they get a loss, they're out of the playoff, because they won't be in the ACC title game. Clemson is asserted themselves as the number 3 team there in the ACC. They're currently sitting at 2 because they're 7-1, but Miami with a win is 7-1, and I guess they have some sort of tiebreaker bullshit or whatever. I believe.
No, that's correct.
So Miami has to win this game, and I think it's be a trap game. I'd take Syracuse with the 10.5. But I love Cam Ward, and Cam Ward needs a 6-touchdown performance to somehow get to at least show up in New York. And so, but we'll see. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think we're gonna have a phenomenal weekend, and this is gonna be one of those games.
I agree with everything Rafa says, so I'm not going to go over everything he said. I do like Syracuse. People have to remember the Syracuse quarterback from New Jersey went to St. Joe's in Philly. Kyle McCord. He was a 3rd-team Big Ten quarterback of the year last year. This guy is a 5-star athlete. He's a really good quarterback. And we both love Cam Ward. So I do like Syracuse 10.5. because that defense has let Cam Ward down. Let me ask you this little sidebar, Rafa. This is something I'm really curious and want to know your opinion. Has Miami's defense cost Cam Ward the Heisman Trophy, or has Cam Ward and his 2 knucklehead plays a game cost him the Heisman Trophy? I'm really curious.
I think it's a little. I don't think it's his defense, because we saw Jaden Daniels win the Heisman with an awful defense. The problem was Jaden Daniels was putting up 3, 4, 5 scores a game, right? With whether it was feet or with his arm, Jaden was phenomenal. Cam is not that. And since we're just touching on the Heisman real quick, I think this year's Heisman Trophy will be probably the worst Heisman Trophy we've had in a while.
Whoa. Okay, in a while. Okay.
In a while. I'm not going to say we've had plenty of bad ones, but we've had bad ones when the guys went to the next level. Jason White. But if we look at Jason White's season, he had 55 touchdowns when he won that.
Oh, Heisman. You had to give it to him.
Gino Torretta
over Marshall Faulk. Gino Torretta over Marshall Faulk, to me, was horrific. Toby Gerhart getting snubbed by another Alabama quarterback. Toby Gerhart was the best back in college football.
Yeah,
are we gonna? Can we talk Heisman? Because I have something so obvious that I just found out that
I don't know if we have another game to cover after this.
You have another game? Okay,
we have one more.
All right, so we'll cover Heisman after. So we'll cover Heisman right after. But Miami on upset alert. I really believe on the road at Syracuse. I would love Miami to win. I love the city of Miami, and I love Cam Ward. So there's that.
Yeah.
All right. Last game of the week. Winner of this game goes to the SEC championship. Texas versus Texas A&M. The Texas rivalry is back. It's back and it's better. Texas at Texas A&M. Texas -6, giving 6 points away, over under 48.5.
Was A&M looking ahead last week, and them losing that game? You can say they were, but they made mistakes in that game, and I said it a couple minutes ago. They dropped a 2-point conversion there to extend it to a 5th overtime or whatever.
Oh, man.
I think Texas is. I think Texas is going to beat them, and it's not going to be as close as people think it is.
In College Station, Rafa.
In College Station, I believe. Listen. When before the season started, I strongly believe that Texas was the best team in the country. And second best team I thought Ohio State was the best team. I thought Texas would go all the way undefeated until the SEC title game and lose to Georgia. Unfortunately, Texas lost to Georgia and got annihilated. It was a dominant performance by the Dogs down in Austin. So, but I still strongly believe that Texas is one of the 3 best teams in the country, and I don't think that A&M, although they've done a phenomenal job, they've overachieved. We gave them an A+ earlier. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's their time just yet, and that's what I think. And I think Texas is going to beat them by double digits. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I would love to see Georgia and my SEC title prediction be correct. And I think if Georgia plays A&M in the title game, I think they will beat them without a problem. So, but
I think coming off a game like that, with Texas A&M in the driver's seat as far as their playoff implications, I think their hair and Eccles being the coach that he is, I think they're going to come out with their hair on fire. And when you go to Texas, it's the big dog. I think Texas has a fucking sponsorship with Lamborghini. I thought it was a joke. Guys on that team are fucking driving around in fucking Lamborghinis. That is not a Texas. I don't know how to explain this, but I went to a school that was on the other side of the tracks from the good schools. And Texas, you have it all. You have the $100 million facility. You have the Lamborghinis. You have the NILs. You have Archie Manning. You have the national championships. I think Texas A&M comes out with their hair on fire. And by the way, I have never believed Quinn Ewers is an elite quarterback. I don't see it. I've never seen it. He has tremendous talent. He reminds me a lot of Brock Purdy, if I'm going to be honest with you. What does Quinn Ewers do well? Is he super accurate? Is he super mobile? I mean, we saw him almost die against the Bulldogs. So I'm on the other side of this. And I think Texas A&M, just because they've been the redheaded stepchild for so long to the UT, that I think Eccles is going to have these guys ready, Rafa. I really do.
All right. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Do we agree on anything?
We agree that Army deserves an A+++.
Right.
Yes.
Right. All right. So it's our favorite topic. Where my dogs at?
Sorry, Zach. I had to, bro.
Yeah, we had to do that. So, Rafa, who is your dog of the week?
I said it earlier. Now it's going to be the Gamecocks from South Carolina. What people believe in South Carolina to be the real USC. We know that's a fucking lie because the real USC has Sim from Kutt Bet. From Kutt.
Well, it depends. If you're talking women's college basketball, then they're the real USC.
Well, we're never talking women's college basketball ever.
You stop that slander. Yes, we are.
We're never talking college basketball. But I thought the South Carolina Gamecocks +2.5. That's my underdog of the week. +2.5 against Clemson.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take
who's your dog of the week, man?
The Cuse, the Orangemen, Ronnie Coleman, Jimmy Boeheim, Earl the Pearl. Oh wait, those are all basketball players.
Carmelo Anthony.
I'm taking Kyle McCord and the Syracuse to beat Miami, and Miami's defense is going to let them down again. That's my dog of the week. Syracuse, New York, baby.
Is McNabb playing quarterback?
Oh man, he was good. He
Yes,
was good.
My dog of the week hits very close to home, quite literally. It's the team that I have the most heart for. It's the team that me and Eddie and the rest of Southern Californians love so much that keeps tugging at our heart.
The darker shade.
But they happen to play a Catholic team from the cold Midwest that drops a game every year, that disappoints us every single year. Notre Dame does. And I think that this is the game where they prove who they really are as a program, and that's fraudulent as hell. I like the Trojans +7.5 at the Coliseum. Give me Maeva. Give me Kobe Pepe, St. John Bosco nose guard. Give me the Trojans. Give me the Trojans. Give me the Trojans.
Yes.
What a weekend we're going to have. And so this is the final weekend before the final rankings of the college football playoff, at least that we think. I mean, we'll see. We don't know how the committee is going to judge on the playoff, on the championship games.
Yeah.
Will they penalize teams? If Georgia loses, do they lose a spot with their third loss in that title game? All of that's going to matter. But this is the final weekend for Travis Hunter and Genty and Cam Ward and Shador and Dylan Gabriel and whoever else is in the Heisman mix. And, everyone in Vegas has it as Travis Hunter as a foregone conclusion that he's going to win it. And, we started talking about it a minute ago. And I feel like this year is a little bit like a year where we're just the guy we're going to give it to we're giving it to him because he plays 100 snaps a game. Is that what we're doing?
So,
like,
Rafa,
I know it's an unpopular.
It's a dumb one.
No. There's an argument for this.
Well,
CJ,
listen,
and I'm going to back you up.
On defense, he has. I believe he has 2 interceptions on defense, or is it 3?
No, Rafa, let me back you up here. Because what you're saying is the absolute truth. Now, I said it last week when he scored 2 touchdowns on offense, it was a wrap. It's done. It's Travis Hunter. There's nothing he can do. But how do you win the Heisman Trophy if you are not even a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award? He wasn't announced as a finalist in the Jim Thorpe, which goes to the best defensive back in the country. So are we giving the Heisman to the Heisman is said to the greatest college football player of the year? If he's not the greatest receiver and he's not even the greatest defensive back, then how are you the greatest college football player this year? And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate. Would I want Travis Hunter on my team? Yes. But listen, Shohei Ohtani has won Cy Youngs. He has won batting. He's hit. Shohei Ohtani could easily be the best pitcher or easily the best hitter. Travis Hunter isn't the best DB, and he's not nowhere near the best receiver.
I've been saying it for weeks, Ed. For fucking weeks. Thank you.
Go ahead. Retort. What's your argument, CJ? Because me and Rafa just laid it down like a fucking bricklayer. Tras.
Are you done?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Okay, I'll let you talk. Just remember that. All
okay.
Right. So listen here. The awards that are given out, the individual awards, are given out to the best. You are correct. He is not the best receiver. He's not the best DB. But guess what? He's probably top 5 both categories. He's probably top 5 DB and top 5 receiver. The end of the day, the reason why I think your argument is flawed is because you cannot nominate a guy for an award who's going to be statistically inefficient because he plays another side of the ball. You cannot put him up with the best DBs who are particularly fulfilling that role and only that role. He has to go to the other side of the ball and produce statistics as well. So yes, he's not going to be nominated for the Jim Thorpe because he doesn't statistically have it. He doesn't have the numbers. Why? Because he gets on the other side of the ball and plays receiver and does a damn good job at it. It's the reason why Travis Hunter, and to your previous point, yes, this is the worst year of Heisman's in a very long time, but it's the worst year in Heisman's for a very long time because there's so many damn teams and there's so much competition that one out of 1 to 4 teams haven't stood out and given us a focus on the top. Usually it's a guy at the top on one of the best teams that's doing well.
That's inaccurate.
How? Jaden Daniels is the only Jaden Daniels and I would say
Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams won it. Caleb Williams won it. Yeah, he won it, and they didn't even win the Pac-12.
Yes, I understand that, but Caleb Williams the year before was in the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck the year before. It's the year you win the Heisman. The year he won the Heisman, he didn't even win the Pac-12. He didn't. Yeah, but
again, that's my point. These two, you can say Jaden Daniels and whoever wins it this year will be a terrible 3-year track of Heisman.
Oh, that is the most inaccurate thing. Listen, do not bunch up. Because what Jaden Daniels did on a week-to-week was phenomenal performance after phenomenal
winning has to fucking matter.
No, it never has. It never matters. For the Heisman, no, it doesn't
matter.
For the Heisman, it doesn't matter.
Bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Not right. That's not
That's
true.
bullshit.
The Heisman usually goes to the quarterback on the undefeated
on the best team.
That's what it is.
Every year.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with it.
But that's usually what it is.
That's the truth.
The quarterback when Baker Mayfield won it, they weren't undefeated.
They were a top 10 team.
Yes, they were a top 10 team. That's fine. There's been it's about
LSU
being
wasn't.
the top, but his numbers were out of this world.
And my argument is that winning has to matter. I'm saying I agree. I'm agreeing with you. That's my point. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that
Travis Hunter's numbers aren't out of this world
because he's playing 2 fucking ways.
So because you're not elite at either one.
Oh no!
Hold on.
He's
because
there's 3 guys nominated for Jim Thorpe. He's not one of them.
Because they only play one position.
There's 3 guys. He's not top 3 in either one.
He plays 2 positions.
I understand.
What do you not get about that?
I understand it 100%.
You obviously not.
Listen, on a bigger level, the actual fucking NFL, Troy Brown played receiver and defensive back for a championship Super Bowl winning fucking team, and he played 80 snaps a game in the NFL, and nobody gave a flying fuck to put him in the Pro Bowl because he played both sides of the ball.
When's the last time a college football player has effectively played both sides of the ball like this?
Is he playing it effectively?
His name was Jim Thorpe.
Right.
Yes.
Which he's not a finalist for.
And he's
right.
not a finalist for
because
either
guess
award,
what, guys?
CJ.
He has to backpedal and then he has to take off and run routes. I understand where you guys are not getting that.
No, because you want to award him because he's doing more. He's playing more. He's playing more. But he's not effective. But he's not more effective.
Saying he's not effective is the dumbest fucking argument on this planet.
He's not a better receiver than Harris. He's not a better than Trey Harris. And Trey Harris showed you that he's more valuable as a receiver. Trey Harris is more valuable.
But Trey Harris can't get and play DB. That's the thing.
No, it's because the receiver should never get it. If this guy wasn't on Deion's team, nobody would give a flying fuck. That's the honest truth. The man has 2 interceptions, and one of them was a batted ball that he got like 4 yards back. He wasn't even near the fucking play. Like watching him on a week to week, I thought he was a better corner last year. I thought he was better corner last year than he was this year. I really believe that. And also, if we look at the teams that they're playing against, he's not a phenomenal corner against the turns that he's playing against. I'm sorry, you weren't giving him the award.
You can't say he's not elite at quarterback or DB and receiver. To say he's not elite,
he's not top 3. He's not top 3.
No, he's not.
This is the first time that we're going to give a Heisman to a player that is not top 3 at their position, period.
This is the first time that we're going to give a Heisman to a player that effectively plays both ways on his team. Sorry. And like you said, in a year with terrible Heisman candidates, the player that plays both ways and does it effectively, he's getting it because we have Ashton Jetty who plays for the Mountain West, Jalen Milroe who can't throw.
How big of a difference is he on defense? They allowed 37 points this last week. They are allowing 30 plus points like 4 or 5 times. Yes, there's 10 other players. Let's not forget that he gets cooked and nobody gives a flying.
No, he doesn't get cooked. Get out of here.
Oh, okay,
DBs get cooked. That's a thing.
But he's to say he's getting cooked.
There's a reason that he's not top 3 in either award.
Yeah.
He's not top 3 in either award.
Because he plays both ways. That's why. He can't. It's like not fucking possible to play.
So because you play 50 snaps on defense and you play 50 snaps on offense and you're not elite at either one.
That's not true. That's where we're disagreeing. He's not elite.
Can we pull up receiver? Because I agree with Rafa. I know we're going to get hate, but I agree with Rafa. And the reason he's winning is because we don't have an Alabama quarterback that's undefeated. But Miami lost. Georgia, what's his name? Lurch motherfucker. If he didn't win, Carson Beck.
Dylan Gabriel's team is undefeated, but he hasn't had 5 and 6 touchdown games that you need to win the Heisman.
Yes.
And because Dan Lanning doesn't give a fuck to obviously put him in the position to win the Heisman.
Click on receptions. Click where is he?
This is receiving yards.
He has 82 receptions.
Okay. Where's that rank?
He's 7th.
The rankings are right in front of you.
Okay.
He's 7th.
Okay, he's 7th. Now go to yards.
That's yards.
Eddie, you're staring at yards.
He's 7th in yards. He's
is he 7th?
He's 6th.
He's 7th.
He's 7th in both?
Yes.
He's 7th in both.
He's 7th in
both. Look at the screen.
So you clicked on yards. Click on receiving.
Eddie, this is receiving.
Click on receptions.
He's like 7th, and he's maybe 6th or 7th.
So he's exactly 7th on both.
Eddie,
he's either 6th or 7th. And CJ, listen.
You're
CJ, real quick.
CJ,
click on receptions so it can line them up so Eddie can see that he's 6th. So I don't have to sit here and go 96, 92, 92, 82, 81. He's either 5th or 6th in receptions.
Okay, so
that's what he is.
Okay, so he's 5th in receptions.
Click on receptions, CJ, and it'll reset it.
That's what I was asking.
So he's tied for 5th in receptions, and if you go to average, he's like 10th in average.
Yeah, because he has to play on another side of the ball.
Yeah, you can keep saying that. You
sat here. Hold on.
CJ, wait. You keep saying that he's playing both sides of the ball. Yes, understood. But is he leading in interceptions? Is he leading it? No, he's not doing either one at a top 3 level. That's the thing. So we're just going to award it to him. If his man was not on Deion's team, Travis Hunter would not be, and everybody's going to say, oh, that wouldn't be the case.
That doesn't fucking matter. That does not fucking matter. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Everything matters.
I let you speak. It's my turn. It's my turn now. At the end of the day, you two just sat here and said he's not elite at any. He's not top 3. You just sat there and told me that Trey fucking Harris was so much better than him when Trey fucking Harris is not even above him in fucking yards. He's 5.
Hey, listen.
I let you speak, sir. I'll let you speak. Hold on. I'll let you speak. And I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. I'm going to speak now.
You're going to say something stupid.
No. I interrupted you and you said something stupid. At the end of the day, Travis Hunter is number 7 in the country. And plays 2 ways. Trey Harris plays 1 way. Trey Harris plays 2 ways. And he's higher than Trey Harris in receptions. And
what
yards.
happened when Travis Hunter didn't play the
At
second
the end
half
of the day,
they still won them.
Travis Hunter is not playing the second half of games, and he's still beating Trey Harris in yards. That's what's crazy.
Trey Harris
still beating
receptions
yards.
He's missed 2 games.
Travis Hunter's missed whole halves.
You are a homer of Colorado because of all their black.
I'm not.
Trey Harris last week leads the game.
Who's the Heisman Trophy winner? Who's the Heisman Trophy winner right now for you?
Because he's on. He shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying.
Who's the Heisman for you?
For me, it's Cam. It's any quarterback. For me, it's Cam Ward.
Cam Ward might not even get to the fucking playoff.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter when it comes down to the high. It doesn't.
It does.
Who the fuck told you that?
It does.
Caleb Williams didn't even win the Pac-12.
It does. It absolutely matters.
What in history has told you that in the last 3 years?
The last 3 years are the only fucking anomalies. If you go past the last 50 years, it's the best quarterback on the best team. At the end of the day, Travis Hunter, 2 sides of the ball and is top 10 in the country in receiving yards. That is ridiculous. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, in a year with bad Heisman candidates, the unicorn is getting the trophy, whether you like it or not. He's getting the trophy.
It's going to be the worst Heisman we've had in the last 20 years. You can go back to Charlie Ward.
Yeah, I agree with you. We are totally in agreement.
But we don't even know who the fuck that is.
But to say Travis Hunter is not elite, these statistics and prove you he's top 10 in yards above the guy that you love so much.
Trey Harris listen, I'm sorry, CJ. You can think of whatever the fuck you want. Trey Harris has 22 less receptions, 22 less, and he only had 6 yards less. I know you should know fucking math. Okay.
Yeah, but you should know common sense that fucking Travis Hunter has missed halves also and plays another side of the fucking ball. That's what you should understand.
22 more receptions than him, and he had 6 less yards.
Does he play defensive back?
So did Troy Brown for a championship.
Troy Brown is not on this list.
You don't even know who that is.
Troy Brown is not on this list. He's not on this list. Troy Brown.
Let me put a rep on this, okay? And I'm going to mention this one guy. The last defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy was a guy named Charles Woodson.
Correct.
Okay. Charles Woodson was the best cornerback and kick returner in the country.
And it wasn't close.
And it wasn't even close. And he played 6 to 10 snaps on offense. Okay. And he was mildly involved and did good things. But he won it because he was the best defensive back and returner in the country. All we're saying is we wish that Travis Hunter was the best at either or, and he would deserve it. He's not the best at either.
Because he plays consistently at...
Dude, you can...
Go ahead, Rafa, go ahead.
Keep saying that. You can play 2 positions, but if you're not elite at either one, I'm sorry. That's just... This is going to be the first time. This is going to be the first time. I don't give a fuck what this is going to be the first time.
Objectivity thrown out. Right. Okay.
This is the first time that the Heisman winner, if Travis Hunter wins, this is going to be the first time that the Heisman winner doesn't win another award with it. This is going to be the first time.
I wonder why. But we'll move on. I wonder why.
All right. Okay. We're going to reward a guy for being above average in both, but not
above average. Top 7 in the country is above average. Got it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Above average. That's elite, my guy. There's 130 fucking teams in the country if you didn't know.
134 teams, and he's above
average. 7th, and he plays both ways. That's what's crazy about that. Anyways, at the end of the day, that's our Heisman talk. That is the episode. I don't have anything else.
Guys,
Unbelievable.
college football. Obviously, it's a heated argument. We're very passionate about our college football. And I know it seems that we're on one side or the other. But we try to be as honest and upfront and like Chick Hearn and Vince Scully. We try to be non-biased. And that's the best we can do. We could only have our opinions. We'd love for you guys to share your opinions. By the way, we love your interactions on our posts. We love it. And I love to respond back to you guys. And this is why we do the show, to go back and forth. This is why we do it. And we have a shit ton of fun. This is what I used to do before I started this show at every bar in Santa Clarita. I just didn't have a fucking camera in front of me. So it's very natural for me. And Rafa knows he probably did the same thing at every family party. And CJ, you probably, yeah.
I did it the other day at the golf course, the whole LeBron James.
No, people don't understand. Like, when the cameras are off and we're sitting in a circle, it's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
The same thing.
Oh,
Nothing changes.
Yeah.
It's actually probably a little bit worse.
Yeah. Real quick. The other day I was at a golf course. I'm playing with Odie, and there's guys playing with us. This guy's playing with this older white dude. He's probably like 53, 54. And he's like, oh, yeah, the NBA, man. I remember Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing. And Odie just looks at me and he goes,
oh, shit.
He goes, don't
Here
say
we
shit.
go.
And I go, Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley. What could they shoot, a fucking 15-footer? Are you fucking kidding? And we had to leave it at that because we had to leave it at that because the white dude, he pulled out his flask. I said, bro, drink that shit up because LeBron's gonna run it all day here. You don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But so we'll be on tomorrow.
We'll be on tomorrow. I'm sure we're gonna get heated about something. I don't know. I have. Can I give a little teaser? And it's near and dear to CJ's heart. My question is, okay, because Rafa said it last week in his firing, Coach Shanahan with the 49ers. My question to you is, if the 49ers commit to Brock Purdy, is it the end of the 49ers?
Oh, my gosh.
Hold on. We're not answering. We will take it to tomorrow. Guys, thank you for watching episode 107. We love you. Zach, Ricky Flores, everyone out there. We appreciate you guys. Matt, we're going to have you on next week when the shit starts to count. You better have a pie chart ready for us. Shout out to everyone. And let's go watch and see who's
Let's go, Purdue.
Let's go. Love you guys.
Later.